welcome back to Metropole Sports Center. My name is Nashon Owano. Now, our guest today on the show is somebody who's not new in the circle of sports in Kenya, having served as one of the members when Kenya was trying to host the bid, was submitting a bid to host CHAN in the country, and currently serves as a member in the CAF Youth Committee. Is a former CEO or Deputy CEO of FKF, Herbert Mwachiro. Herbert, thank you so much for finding time to come to the show.
Thank you, Nashon. It's a pleasure to be here on Metropole TV.
Thank you so much for finding time. Now, let's quickly dive right into it. I think we were having this conversation just off air. At least for me, we've had that interaction, and I've already asked you. Why did you decide to vie for the position of FKF president?
Okay. Having looked at what was going on and seeing that the official mandate of the current regime, or outgoing regime, if I may call them, had ended, I saw a gap, and I think there was a need for somebody to come in, somebody to bring in a new style of management, somebody to take this game of football to another level. With my experience that I've had over the last 30 years in sports, as a player, as a manager, as an official, I said, okay, this is the time for it. This is the time to plunge in. Let me go for it. I'm vying because I believe I have the experience and I can do a better job.
Okay. There you have it. He says he can do a better job. Now, Herbert, every time whenever we are having elections, be it political, we see a huge number of people who are trying to vie for those particular positions. But one thing that makes people stand out is probably the development agenda or the manifesto that they have to give the electorate. So, given the fact that you're vying, I would like to understand what are your key pillars, the key pillars that your campaign is based on. Yeah.
Nashon, for me, the theme of my campaign and actually my leadership is all about good governance and sustainability. That forms the theme of what I'm running for. And from there, I look to bring in a vision that will change football over the next 8 years, because I intend to be there for 2 terms. 2 maximum terms allowed as under the Constitution. So I want to bring change in terms that ensure that we have a vision that brings football, we package football, we change it. It's a new dawn for football. I would like to bring in partnerships, new partnerships, or if there are any old partnerships that had gone away, any relationships that had broken down, bring them back into the game so that we can take this game of ours to another level. Make sure that we have better governance. And for me, governance is key. And also we have to ensure that this game is financially sustainable. For me, that's the theme of why I'm running.
Okay. So one of the key things that people usually raise when you're talking about sports management is mismanagement of funds. Actually, just before you answer that question, before this interview, my reporter took time to walk in the streets of Nairobi and just to talk to some of the football fans out there. Here's what they had to say.
Ni furaha iliyoje kwa mashabiki wa mpira humu nchini baada ya shirika linalosimamia masuala ya soka humu nchini FKF kupata ufadhili wa takriban shilingi bilioni 1.2. Vilevile shirikisho hilo linaazimia kufanya uchaguzi wake hivi karibuni. Katika pilika zangu za kupata mashabiki na kupata maoni yao kuhusiana na uamuzi huu,
zilisimamishwa juu ya mambo na corona. Players wengi wanaumia, hata wengine ukimit nao mtaani unashindwa. Ma players wale upanda ndege wakienda majuu, wakileta vikombe ama kunaendaje. Inasemekana do iko huko juu. But do haifikii wachezaji. Unaona. Kulingana na mimi kuna mchezo ile inachezwa pale juu. Cause unapata nisemeni kama kuna ubaguzi ni kujuana. Kuna players wale ni wazuri sana unapata au wachwa nje. Kuna players wale sijui wanajulikana vipi, ni kama niseme wana Godfather. Inabidi wanaletwa pale kwa pitch. Shida ya huko juu wale watu kuna watu wale wanajua wale hata uja maki wapoa na ajulikani wanachwa nyuma. Hiyo ndio shida. hawachukui players kulingana na ile game wanacheza, unaona. But kuna wengine ukipata na wenyewe wanalia, hawatritiwi poa. Ndio hiyo inaonyesha ni kujuana, unaona. Sababu kama wewe unajulikana zaidi, kuna vile unajulikana pale, utatritiwa poa. Lakini kama una mtu amekushika mkono pale, unafinywa, unanyanyaswa kiasi, unaona. Hapo ndio mali kuna shida. But wangeka tu hii kitu mchezaji, yani unalipwa kulingana na vile unacheza, ama game hata matches zikiwa unafixiwa kulingana na ile vile wewe ucheza na vile unajulikana, hiyo ingekuwa sawa. Wangetoa hiyo kujuana hapo, sababu hiyo wana kill talent ya hata maboys wale walikuwa na style sahihi, wana shine wako juu. Kando na hiyo ni kuomba gava wa supporta maboys, ingia mtaani, watu hiyo wanacheza ball, maboys wanacheza ball, lakini mtu wa kuwashika tu mkono hivi kuwapeleka mali wana style hakuna.
Mimi ni football referee na sana niko kwa hizi league za chini, kuanzia county leagues na provincial leagues. So hii hali ya corona ndio imetuhangaisha sana, kutoka michezo zisimamishwe kutoka Februari hapo mpaka leo hii. So tunaumia sana kama referee, na venye serikali iko imekuja kati ikasema inataka kusupport wachezaji, sisi kama referee tuko tumetengwa sana. Support inakuja kwa football, lakini inaingia kwa teams, unaona. But referee waga watajui palipopote. Kwa wale watu sasa wanakuja waweze kuangazia kila sekta, juu football haianzi top level ikikuja chini. Football inaanzia on the ground ikikuja juu, unaona. So I think wanafaa kuangazia sana chini, kutoka mitaa ndio inakuja liga. Hakuna wachezaji wanatolewa from top wakiletwa ligi za chini, ni wachezaji kutoka chini wanaletwa juu, unaona. So naomba tu ile leadership inakuja waangazie sana mambo kama hayo, na pia marefari pia wawekwe. Marefari is part of play, unaona. Bila sisi game haiwezi kuwa poa, no. Kama wachezaji wenye wanatritiwa ni zile matimu ziko na sponsors, kama zile matimu ziko na makampuni kama Tusker tuseme, Ulinzi, unaona hizo ni timu ambazo ziko sawa kabisa. So hao siwezi sema ati wanahangaika sana, kama club zingine zinategemea zinategemea mashabiki wao kuwapiga support kifedha, unaona. So ni ile tu unapata team maybe hata kama Kogalo ama Ingwe kuna sponsor fulani ametokea, lakini kuna wachezaji ambao wanaangaziwa sana, wale kama tegemeo. Na kwa team huwezi pata ni watu wachache, team ni watu wote, unaona. So watu tu wapewe tu equal share, unaona, watritiwe tu equal. Kulia kwangu ni pande ya marefari, of which hata hao FKF enyewe wanatenga kiwango fulani kwa marefari. Sio tu kila kitu inakimbia, ikiletwa inakimbizwa kwa teams na wachezaji. Hata marefari pia wako pale, wakumbukwe.
Yani kulingana na maoni yangu, nataka tu utendekaji bora. Kama ni mambo na sponsorship, watafutie mavijana huko mitaani na vitu kama hizo, na waache kuaibisha kama ni wachezaji. Maybe kuwe na mikakati, weke mikakati tu vizuri na mambo itaenda sabamba. Hakuna kitu cha maana tu kwenda kuchukua kule kuleta hapa. Nile tuko nayo tu, kama ni rasilimali, kama ni pesa iko, itumike tu kwa kwa ufasaha na ile njia inayofaa. Maybe kuna kampuni ilikuwa nataka kufadhili, inavunjwa moyo na hii kitu yetu tunasemanga tu ufisadi. Ufisadi ni kitu tumezoea tu kusema na tutazidi tu kusema mpaka itakapofika kikomo. So naombea tu tupate wafadhili na mambo yatakuwa tu sawa. Lakini kama tunaendelea tu hivi na jinsi, yani pesa ikitolewa huku wanakula huku wanang'ang'ania pale na hapo, sidhani kama itakuwa tu inasaidia. But all in all tunahitaji sana wafadhili.
Ni ngoja kutoka kwa wapenzi wa mpira humu nchini iwapo ufadhili huu utaimarisha kiwango cha mchezo wa mpira humu nchini. Nikiripotia Metropole Sports Center, jina langu ni Jesse Tetei.
Now, Herbert, those are very pertinent questions. I'm pretty sure these are not new things that you've probably encountered during your time in the sports sphere. One key thing that really touched me a lot is the issue of player welfare. You've seen situations where from time to time there are players who have represented the country internationally, and then probably once they retire from the sport, it becomes a different ball game altogether. When you're elected as the FKF president, what are you going to do different to ensure we don't see such situations?
For me, it's not just looking at national team players. It is looking at the whole football spectrum that we have in place. My call for football in this country is we have to start at the bottom, soka mashinani. If we start looking after our players well from the bottom, then we will do it at the top. I'm looking to engage clubs. I'm looking to ensure that clubs actually practice what is in the rules of club licensing. When I was at FKF, it was one of my projects that I had started to ensure that we build on club licensing. Because with club licensing, you're able then to have management systems for players, for the clubs. And we're able to ensure that, one, the players get salaries on time. Two, the players are able to know that they are able to earn a decent living out of it. What is missing right now is to ensure that how we're going to look after our players post-retirement. Do we have pension schemes? Do we have insurance schemes that will look after the players? Are we enabling our players to be able to look after themselves after they've stopped playing? So capacity building of our players is important. We have to educate our players that the life of football, shelf life of football, would be 10 to 15 years at the maximum. But beyond that, what other activities do they do? So we have to prepare our players. Whether some will go into coaching, some will go into refereeing, some will go into administration, or others will just go into business altogether, away from the game of football. But they must have skills. So I will look to see that we're able to ensure that we have a skills program for our players so that post-retirement, they're able to fend for themselves. You only play for 10 years. Then after that, and
what next?
What next?
Yeah.
We don't want our players to be desperate and desolate. No. We want them to be initiative. We want them to progress. We want them to move into the next life. Because once you stop playing, you become the role model of players who are now starting to play. And they look up to those who have retired and what successes they have. So we have to build a successful model for our players. We have to do it through the clubs. We have to do it through the systems, right from the bottom. Soka mashinani coming up. Generally what I'm saying, we have to build our game right from the grassroots so that those who play, those who enjoy, those who watch are all on the same plane. Upon retirement, you then move to the next level into another role.
Okay. So in the business sphere, like if you compare sports, on my show I usually talk a lot about the fact that sport is not a part-time activity. It's more of a business entity. The problem that you find that in most parts of Africa and even in certain quarters within Kenya, in the sports in Kenya, unapata people are looking at sport as a pastime. You get like, let's go play football and end that conversation there. But now the question is, how do we change that narrative? Because for probably say sponsors to come on board, there has to be a good product. You know how corporates work. They don't work with just any other thing that has been pieced together in a very fast manner. So how do we then package our sports in Kenya, particularly football, to a way that it is appealing to sponsors so that they come in and help to change the narrative into a business angle?
You said it. We need to repackage. We need to repackage football in this country so that we look at it more as a business, more as an industry. Sponsors or well-wishers will look at the game on how we are presenting it. Is it well managed? Is it professionally run? Do we have the structures in place? Are we able to look at the monies that they're going to give us? Are we going to be disciplined in the management of funds? All right? Are we going to work with integrity? Those values we need to bring back to football. They are missing. Because that is part of repackaging the game so that donors, well-wishers, sponsors can come and say, yes, if I put my shilling here, if I put my dollar here, this guy thought-out plan that generates return on investment. We can do it at a national level, or we can do it at a regional level. But we have to package the game better for both men and women. It is a must package. Make it attractive, make it sweet. Bring the corporates back. Those who have left, we shall engage them and ask them, why did you leave? What did you find that was wrong, that was there? Those who are still watching from the sidelines and seeing whether they should invest in football or take their money elsewhere, no. We will sit down with them and tell them, this is the value proposition. This is what we are offering. We're offering a professionally run league or a professionally run game in this country that brings in a definite ROI, return on investment. It is important that even our clubs understand that it is a business. It is not leisure anymore. Yes, we can enjoy. We can enjoy football. It can be sweet. We can fall in love with football again because that's what we want to do. But we have to treat the industry and bring it back to ensure that it develops and it generates revenue, not sucks in revenue, but generates revenue. And that starts from the bottom, right from Soka Mashinani, going upwards. You heard what the fan said. Yeah? You heard what the referee said. We start building from the bottom and we take it up. Players are not taken from the top. The system in place right now, Nation, is like a funnel. Resources are being put at the top and they're getting stuck there. They don't get to the bottom. But Montreal and Soka Mashinani are saying, let's start from the bottom. It's a pyramid and we build it up. You will see the difference.
Okay. So I think it will be interesting to understand what's like your structure, because you know even when we're talking about developing a bottom up approach, what structures do you have in mind or in place to ensure that comes to fruition?
For me, the counties and the sub-counties, where the branches and the sub-branches are very important. We have 47 counties, 290 sub-counties, 1,400 in the country. The basic unit of how to start our football development is right from the ward. All right? Even if I was to give you an example, we were to look for one quality player from each ward in this country. Already we have a pool of 1,450 players. If we were to look for coaches, each from every ward, already 1,450. If we have to look for referees, already 1,450. Basically, we are taking the search for quality, the building of quality in our game, right to the basic level. We're looking to partner with schools, both at primary and secondary. We're looking to ensure that academies that are in place are genuine academies, genuine football academies, so that we can create a pathway from the bottom to the top. I'm saying development of football starts at Soka Mashinani. All right? We start at the lowest level. We can even start from 5-year-olds. I say if you can walk, you can play. All right? So we need to have coaches at that level. We need to have a pathway for coaches, referees, players, and other administrators. We bring in nutrition, the issue of nutrition. Yeah, and when you bring in the new issue of nutrition, you're involving parents who want to see their kids play and their kids remain healthy at the same time. So I'm saying the whole involvement, I'm giving soccer back to the community. You heard what the guy said there. He said all they want to do is to play football, to ensure that it starts working for them at the bottom. Kenyans love their football. Kenyans are starved of football. And we get the building blocks right from the beginning, moving up. Then we're building quality. We're generating quality. And mine is not a short-term plan, by the way. It's a very long-term plan. Even those who take over after Mwachiro will say, oh, Mwachiro actually put in a plan. There is no need to change it. Let's continue with this plan. A long-term football development plan that will see us have quality, that will see us knock doors and rub shoulders with among the top teams in Africa.
Okay. So one of the biggest hurdles, there's a part of that clip that we sort of cut out during the editing. One of the key things that one of the people that we interviewed was saying that the challenge that they're having is the issue of stadiums. Like, if you walk in Eastlands, there aren't any much, as in the amount of talent and the number of people that want to access the stadiums is higher compared to the stadiums that we have right now. I understand during the election time we had a lot of promises about the setting up of stadiums in different parts of the country, but that's a story for another day. Now, back to you now. How are you going to address the issue of training facility, stadiums more so?
We have to discuss this with the government, and we have to discuss it with the county governments as well. Let us see what spaces have been demarcated for playing grounds, for playing fields. Let us see which schools have got grounds, because those already provide facilities. We will seek partnerships with them so that they can open up the grounds, primary schools, secondary schools, for people to play football. What we want to see is our kids and our children and our youth playing football. And where there are football grounds that can be accessed, or if need to be accessed, we will work to ensure that more grounds are open for people to play football. And once we have that, then we can see how the development of football can work in place with that. You've already said it. Even they said it, huko mtaani, kucheza ball, tutafute viwanja vya kucheza ball. And that's what we have to do. That's what we have to engage. And that's where we have to engage it from the grassroots level. Let's identify spaces. Let's identify where football fields are and ensure they remain football fields. If they're community fields, let us see that they are there, they are safeguarded, they're not converted into for other use other than football. I'm being selfish for football here, yeah, because football is an number one sport in the world. It's an number one sport in Kenya. It is important we engage right at the lowest level to see where football can be played. Schools, spaces, county governments allocate spaces for football, yeah, recreation, yeah, that is where we want to see it happening. And once those spaces are safeguarded and identified, then we already have football going on, yes, and then we continue now to build the structures from there, involving people who are interested in the development of football, involving people who are interested to see football growing up and becoming a quality product. And that's the only way we now then attract well-wishers back into the game. Let them see that football is working. Let them see it is working in 47 counties, not one section of an estate in a certain place. Yeah. But we want to see 47 counties, 47 football areas continuing.
Okay. So for football fans, there has always been the friction between FKF and KPL. That's a conversation that is very recurrent. Like every now and then, you usually hear Mara FKF is involved in this tussle with KPL. When you're elected, how are you going to address that issue so that this issue of FKF and KPL is a thing of the past, so that we are all like-minded? FKF and KPL are working together toward driving the sports agenda of football.
The blueprint for football, especially running the top leagues, is there. You see it in the UK with the English Premier League. Yeah, you see it in Germany, the Bundesliga. You see it in Spain, La Liga. In Italy, Serie A. All right. In South Africa, you have the PSL, which runs the Premier League. The federation gives the company or an entity to run the Premier League, and there's an agreement that is signed. For me, it's all about communicating, sitting down with the stakeholders of the Premier League, and seeing how we can now build our football together. As a federation, we're interested in having a strong league. A strong league gives us quality. A strong league attracts sponsors. A strong league brings in money. We should not be talking at cross purposes. Rather, we should be having a good open communication between the federation and the Premier League body that will be running football. For me, KPL have already been there. They may not be perfect. There's need for reviewing them and changing certain structures, changing the certain modus operandi. But they already have done that. They have a very high success rate. If it is only until last season when we started seeing things like walkovers, which is unfortunate in the game of football. But before that, KPL had 100% record. So let's take there, let's look at where we do a gap analysis, correct the mistakes that have been made over the past few years, and move it on. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. We don't need to start all over again. The business of football is on the football pitch, not away from the football pitch. Let's talk, agree, because we all have one common goal, football, and get back to playing football. Get a strong league. A few years ago, we were ranked very highly in Africa in terms of our football league. Now, you have to Google us very far or very deeply to find where we are again. We are missing from the top leagues in Africa. We need to get back there.
Okay. So in 2 minutes, Mwachiro, I want you to look at this camera.
Only 2 minutes.
Yeah, 2 minutes. I know you have a lot you'll want to talk about, but I'll give you 2 minutes to look at this camera. This is your camera. And probably there's somebody who's watching you, and just a message on why they should vote for you.
Okay. Those who have the power to vote in the upcoming elections, I'm saying, let's come together. Let's have like minds in developing soccer in this country. Let's build this soccer again right from the bottom. And I keep saying, soccer mashinani. Tuanze kujenga mpira wetu kutoka chini hadi kwenda juu. We have a lovely product here that has to be repackaged. We need to run professionally. We need to ensure that we have the right people, honest people, people with values, people with integrity who are running the sports in Kenya. Myself and my team, we are ready to take the mantle of running football in this country. I say from Soccer Mashinani, support Herbert Mwachiro and his team, because we want to bring the good times back to football. We want you, the fan, to appreciate football. We want you, the player, the referee, the coach, and other administrators to be key stakeholders in the management of football in this country, and also to seek to bring back former footballers who have felt disenfranchised and bring them back to football. Let's go with Herbert Mwachiro. Herbert Mwachiro is the man you can trust to run Kenyan football.
Thank you so much, Herbert, for making time to come to studio. Now, that's all the time that we had on Metropole Sports Center. I'm going to be shifting to the other part of the studio where John Makali is going to be giving us, talking to us about the money in sports and the sports facts.
Now, away from FKF Elections, now let's take a look at the money ref and some of the table tennis facts. We start with the money ref, and the highest table tennis, that is the net worth players. We have some of the players who are actually earning big. Their network is actually something to admire. The first position we have Jean Michel. He has a total net worth of 15 million, that is US dollar. We have Timo Boll, a total of $7 million. Wang Hao, a total of $1.5 million. Chen Jing, having a total of 18 million US dollars. Then we have Wang Lin, again at 20 million US dollars. Then Zhang Jik, having a total of 10 million. Those are some of the players within table tennis whose net worth is actually something above 8 million US dollars, and actually no one has passed the mark of 20 million. The highest actually, Wang Ling has a total of 20 million US dollars. Now let's take a look at some of the sports facts in the same field, that is table tennis sports facts. And the first fact is that table tennis is governed by the worldwide organization International Table Tennis Federation, ITTF or ITTF, that was founded in the year 1926. ITTF currently includes 220 members associate, and that the sports organization in Victorian England, where it was played among the upper class as an after-dinner parlor game. Again, it had several different names, including Wif Waf. The name Ping Pong was in wide use before British manufacturer J. Jacks and Sons Limited trademarked it in 1901. The modern version of the racket was discovered in the year 1901 by fixing a sheet of pimped or stipped rubber to the wooden blade. Table tennis was introduced as an Olympic sport at the Olympic Games. That was in the year 1988. The ball is made of celluloid plastic as of the year 2015, colored white or orange with a matter fish. The choice of the ball color is made according to the table color and its surroundings. And lastly, the sport originated in Victorian England, where it was played among the upper class as an after-dinner parlor game. But something funny is that most of the best players, they don't even come from England. Most of them come from Asian, China, and Japan. We're taking a short commercial break, but remember, after the break, we're going to talk matters about the English Premier League. Last week, we talked about a London derby in the FA finals, where by it happened, Chelsea will be facing Arsenal in the finals. That will be on 1st of next month. Today, let's take a look at what will traverse in the English Premier League now that it's actually game 38. We're taking a short commercial break. Stay tuned. After the break, we're going to discuss how the games will end.